With every social media account I've ever started, I've developed this pattern of building something, becoming unhappy with my progress, and quitting. I quit Instagram, and without even planning to, I quit posting on BookTok or watching any content on there. Because the platform was making me not only unhappy with my content, but myself. For the longest time, I wanted to believe YouTube, and in my case BookTube, would be different. And in some ways it is. This channel is still important to me, and I do want to find my feet again. But there wasn't a big plan to quit. If anything, I started the year of 2024 off strong. I joined the YouTube Partner Program, at least partially. I started noticing the same people leaving lovely comments on my videos, and I was optimistic. I wasn't growing fast, but progress was steady, and overall I was hopeful about the future of my channel, especially as regards where I'd be a year later. I set a number of ambitious goals. I started posting twice a week, thinking erroneously that this would lead to me growing twice as fast, and I ignored the creeping misgivings content creation in general was giving me. When it came to my growing lack of confidence, my unhappiness with my content or even myself, and my forced optimism that things would get better eventually, I ultimately shoved my problems with myself and my content into a box instead of actually addressing them. A few months into 2024, I stopped posting, and I left this message on my community tab. Everything came to a head when YouTube hit me with an email that I had gained 6 subscribers in the month of March. And I just sat there and asked myself, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I bothering? Like anyone, my channel always had its ups and downs. But this was the worst my channel had ever performed. And this was with 600 subscribers, 3 years of work, and 2 videos a week. It made me feel like the sense I'd had of making progress was a delusion, and that in 3 years I'd actually accomplished nothing, or at least so little that it might as well have been meaningless. Receiving that email, I had to question if I was wasting my time trying to build a community. I had to ask myself if I simply wasn't good enough, wasn't pretty enough, funny enough, charismatic enough, lucky enough to make this work. Generally, I avoid looking at my views and purposefully steer clear of my analytics because of how bad the numbers always make me feel. Not only about the work I'm putting out, but my legitimacy as a content creator. I feel very inadequate, like I should shut up because it's obvious no one wants to listen to me. I thought I could ignore the numbers and continue in blissful ignorance. After all, I'd already accepted that the numbers were going to be bad, so why drag myself down with them? Why engage with them when they only zapped my desire to create? I'm still upset that YouTube more or less did force this on me. At the same time, it was a wake-up call that I was doing something wrong, that at a deep fundamental level there was a problem with my content. As such, I stepped back. I tried to improve in every way I could think of. I learned to make thumbnails I was proud of, I cut my intros back and made my scripts more concise. I planned my content ahead, doing my best to mix topics in which would be more trendy, like a guitar or Twilight, and I worked on my camera presence. In the end, though, it didn't make a difference, which told me that I was still doing something wrong, something that was so obvious to others that they cringed away from my content, but undetectable by me. In making this video, I want to go deeper into why I left. While I am a booktuber, I realize that much of this applies to content creation in general. And as a creator, I realize I'm not alone in these feelings of inadequacy or fear. I've watched many of my favorite creators, including the bigger ones, express their frustrations, disappointments, and insecurities. I am not unique in this respect. and neither is the BookTube niche. But still, even if only 15 people watch this, I have to talk about it, because I think it's an important discussion to have. And even if someone prettier or more charming has said it before me, it's worth saying again. The main reason I had to leave BookTube was because of what it was doing to my self-esteem. Generally speaking, I feel good about myself, and I enter any creative projects with confidence. By staying on BookTube, though, and continually being bombarded with low viewings, that confidence in myself was being eroded. You can only be told that you're not good enough, however indirectly, so many times without internalizing it. People talk about the hate comments or the toxicity, but less people talk about the impact numbers can have. I'd welcome someone telling me I was ugly, because at least that would be proof that I'm worth noticing. At least it would mean I was worth being acknowledged and that I was making some kind of impact, even if it was a negative one. Seeing the low views, a part of me wanted to change. I thought maybe I should do something crazy. Maybe I should buy a wig to hide my ugly hair or devise a costume so I can stand out. I used to judge people like Miley Cyrus for riding naked on a wrecking ball because I thought that was so stupid. But then I realized that stunts like that work. Or at least they seem to, because they get people talking. And I wondered if that was what I had to be. Maybe I needed to wear a bra and start making wisecracks, and my channel would take off. Ultimately, I didn't end up doing that, and that would have been inauthentic. But you see the issue. When you're not able to get through, you start thinking bad publicity is still publicity. When you start thinking that getting plastic surgery is the only thing that will turn things around because nothing legitimate has worked, that's a sign that it's time to step back. For the sake of how I felt about myself and the confidence I need, not only to continue this channel long term, but start other projects, I had to step away because YouTube itself was reinforcing the narrative that I wasn't enough. Given all of these feelings, I also had concerns about the content itself. I had all of these negative feelings broiling within me, and my worry was that this would start showing in my videos. People would start seeing how frustrated I was and how angry and disillusioned. Being a small creator, this would also be people's first impression of me, and I didn't want that. I didn't want a video about how much I hated BookTube or how shallow the community had become to be the video that brought people to my channel. Before I quit, the primary video ideas I had were BookTube is dead and quitting BookTube. I didn't post the first because I was very angry. Some of it was true, but the script itself got very judgmental, defensive, and bitter. And that's not the energy I want to bring to this channel. This isn't to say you can't share your feelings or offer constructive criticism of something. But when all of your videos are like this and everything you have to say is coming from a negative space, that's a sign you need a break. I recognized the early signs of burnout, as well as the toxic place this channel could become if I gave in to venting all of these continually negative thoughts. And so I stepped back. I still have to grapple with how many negative videos I want to do, because I find negativity in excess a turnoff. I've unsubscribed from channels when their content essentially became a laundry list of things they hated. It made me question if that person was deeply unhappy, and I feel sad when creators fall into this rut because we should be able to talk about the good things in life. And if there's nothing good to talk about, then it doesn't seem like a healthy thing. The reality, though, is that negativity sells, so I still feel pressure to create at least one video a month that is a hot take, because those seem to be the only videos besides Twilight Explained videos that take off. My best performing BookTube video is BookTube Sexist? And my second best video is Why Netflix is Doomed Narnia. Both videos at their heart have a complaint to make or are otherwise negative in general. And that's fine. It's okay to have some negativity. I just don't want negativity to be the foundation I build this channel on. I don't want my anger to be the reason people seek me out. But when people wouldn't listen to me say anything positive, I was tempted to turn the space into an outlet for all my problems. And that wasn't deep down what I wanted this to be. On a more obvious note, there was the pressure to post. Again, this isn't unique to BookTube. But given how small my niche was, I felt like in order to break through, that I had to release twice the content in order to compare with someone in a more popular niche, like finances. Many of the booktubers who grew faster do seem to post more often. Some post twice a week, and others post 5 times a week, so I took that as an indication I should do more. However, my journey is my own, and what works for one person doesn't always work for another. If anything, my posting more frequently actually hurt my channel. It could be that the increased content was more than what my subscribers could keep up with. Therefore, they didn't watch each individual video as much because they were overwhelmed, and YouTube interpreted that as them no longer being interested in it. My impressions tanked by 60%, and I went from making 80 views to making 15. The moral of the story is, less is more, and doubling your output won't necessarily grow your channel. If anything, doing more work can hurt your content. I'll never know the real reason why doing more work translated to less views overall, but I've gone back to posting less. Not only because of how my previous schedule hurt my channel, but because of the added commitment. Which brings me to my next point. In having to pour so much into my channel, I had less space to explore other ideas and projects. I managed to maintain my daily writing process for the most part, but having to script, edit, and upload 2 videos a week instead of 1 meant I didn't have the extra mental energy to try anything new, experiment, or plan out other projects. Worse, BookTube wasn't benefiting me in any meaningful way. In addition to not earning money, my channel wasn't fulfilling me creatively. I make no money as it is from my writing, but my enjoyment of writing isn't attached to what others think. While I plan to publish my books eventually, I fully expect people to ignore them. I'm certain there'll be commercial flops, but I want to publish my books for the sake of doing so. It gives me satisfaction simply to write, and to know I've accomplished something. I wasn't getting that from my channel though. Moreover, there were other projects I could see not only being more financially viable, but more fun and with none of the pressures of content creation. I'd like to dive into low content. I want to create word search books, patterns that can be used on blankets and pillows and cards. I want to be creative in a variety of ways and create multiple income streams. Living with my parents, my expenses are low, but that won't be the case forever, and I have to be realistic about where I'm going with my life and how I'll support myself if I want to start a family. I don't want a failing YouTube channel to be the reason I delay having children, which means I have to think of other ways I could make money. I'm already doing well with my pet sitting business, but I don't want to be wholly reliant on one thing. And YouTube is taking time away from other projects that could be both financially beneficial and creatively fulfilling. I still have a dream of turning this channel into an income stream. I'll never be able to make a full-time living from it. But I'm hopeful that if I can reach 5,000 subscribers in the channel's lifetime, I could create a Patreon and have a few $100s coming in every month. $300 doesn't sound like much, but that's what I hope for this channel at this point. That said, that probably won't happen until I'm 35. And in the meantime, I need to do things that will make money and allow me to build a savings account. Despite my determination to ignore my numbers, YouTube likes to shove them in your face. Whenever I go to the upload screen, I literally hold my hand out in front of my other videos so I can't see the shitty views they've gotten. Sometimes when I accidentally look, the views are better than I thought, and I know there will be people who say that for my subscriber count, my views weren't bad. If you have 600 subscribers and you get 60 views on average, that's 10% of your audience, which is considered high when you note that some creators with 100,000 followers might only get 3,000 views. Still, I wasn't happy. Even with trying not to fixate on the numbers, YouTube pushes you to do so. I wish there was a toggle on all social media that allowed you to turn off the views. If it wasn't for having those views shoved in my face, I'd still be on TikTok right now. But as it is, when you go to your homepage, they're forced on you. The platforms seem to be designed to remind you how lousy you are. The numbers seemed like a reflection not only of my content, but of me. If I was writing immaculate scripts and publishing gorgeous thumbnails and still getting low views, then I had to be the problem. Other creators have a vibe that's natural to them and that I can't emulate without faking it. It could be that I talk too much, that I'm not attractive enough, or that I'm simply boring. If people aren't wanting to watch my videos, then clearly there's something wrong with them. If, after 3 years, people see my face on thumbnails and run away, then there must be something wrong with me. That's the message the numbers reinforced. YouTube itself went out of its way to email me about how shitty I was doing, and I internalized that as, your content is garbage and you should quit because nobody cares. You suck and you haven't improved since you started this channel. I thought I was doing a lot right with my content and that I had grown, but being told I'd only made 6 subscribers in a month made me doubt myself. It made me question if I had made any progress over 3 years, if anything I'd accomplished had counted for anything. All of this together led to the main reason I had to leave, which was a loss of passion. I don't think this will be like my experience with Instagram or TikTok because I do miss being on here, and it does add something to my life being able to share my passion for books and put myself out there when others don't even try. That said, sometimes the best thing for your creativity is to stop creating. It sounds counterintuitive, but I fully believe I was heading towards creative burnout. I was gradually losing excitement in my content. I was creating just to create. When editing, my heart wasn't in it, and I was only releasing videos because of an arbitrary deadline. This isn't to say I'm unhappy with my content. When it comes to the topics themselves and the written part of my scripts, I am proud of that. And I've had compliments from you about how thoughtful and intelligent my points are. I am unhappy with the presentation though. I feel like I come across as a frumpy goblin crouching in her cave. My resources were limited, and that meant I couldn't create the videos I wanted, at least as far as the quality went. I lacked a dedicated recording space or the literal space to set up appropriate lighting or decoration for the atmosphere I was going for. I had to film poor quality footage because I didn't have the means to do more. I had the money, but not the space. I had to film out of other people's homes while pet sitting because my own house didn't even have a kitchen table, and I was self-conscious about recording at home because my parents could hear all of it. Long story short, I was having to release content that I wasn't happy with to remain consistent because I lacked the resources to create the videos I envisioned. Even something as simple as framing myself was difficult because without the space for a tripod or lavalier mic, I had to film really close with my face being blown up where other creators could film from the waist down. I couldn't take B-roll of myself because, again, I didn't have access to a tripod or a person who could take the footage for me. It's hard to maintain passion when you know you could be doing more and you're limited in your ability to grow or be creative. I couldn't feel excited about content that was on one level subpar, especially when I felt good about other elements like the script. Essentially, I felt like I was wasting amazing essays on garbage cinematography because there was literally no place for me to put a proper light down. Going forward, I want this channel to be about my passion for books, BookTube, and of course, the world's cutest cat. There are shortcomings with BookTube itself, and the wider bookish community, which I address in the video on the left. Thank you for watching, and happy reading.